until quite recently, and arguably still today, open banking is the best kept secret in financial services. Once you get outside of the bubble of open banking excellence and so on, not a lot of people know about it. But the really exciting thing is we're beginning to see adoption. And just recently, or today rather, I should say that we've got more than 2.5 million active users of open banking enabled products. It's still a small number in the grand scheme of things, but boy, is it growing quickly. In terms of API volumes, 70 million API calls were made in 2018. That's 5 billion in 2020. So it is increasing nicely. And on the payment side, I think this is really important. The final pieces of the jigsaw are coming into place. They're not there yet, but already we're seeing a good level of payments. 3.5 million in 2020, and hopefully soon we're going to be hitting 1 million a month. So again, you can feel the growth rates coming through. Our experience of designing standards which the banks have to implement, back at Open Banking HQ, if you like, is that this notion that there is such a thing as positive friction, negative friction, you've got to be really, really careful with. What we find is that if you allow space for friction to be incorporated, then bad journeys, bad user experiences are what fills the vacuum. With reality, what we found is that it doesn't mean that the consumer is better served. So by putting an extra screen in, it doesn't cause the consumer to stop, pause and think, do I really want to buy that thing that I'm kind of is nice and spangly or jangly or whatever, and I shouldn't buy it. It's not what happens. They just fly through it because it becomes habit forming very, very quickly. So I think it's the onus is on us as an industry to try and kind of work our way through and figure out what does actually benefit a customer and what doesn't. And I'm party some really interesting conversations with the PSR where we're beginning to break that down so we can put in the kind of the pause for thought really where it matters in the journey and for the right transactions, for the right customer at the right point in time. It's tough, but we'll get there. A lot of the merchants are interested in taking payments directly from via bank accounts because often there's no settlement period, there's no interchange fees to pay. So there's a lot of benefits to them there. What we found, however, is over the course of last year, is that there was a really crucial piece of missing functionality, and it was kind of obvious, and that's refunds. So it's very hard to reverse a payment made over bank transfer, particularly using the old open banking model. But I'm very pleased to say that after a lengthy consultation over the course of last year, we did formally approve refund functionality into the open banking standards, and that's going to be rolled out over the course of the next weeks and months. So really interested to see if that makes a difference and brings more merchants to the table, because they are interested, but they need refunds to work. This idea of a kind of code of excellence for the vast array of fintechs out there who are the pioneers and moving the industry forward, I've always thought that that would be a good idea. I've always thought that accompanied with that, you could have some kind of trust mark. But nonetheless, what I have found is that rather frustratingly, about a year and a bit ago, when we tried to bring the industry around together and say, let's develop one of these things, it was rejected. And it wasn't rejected just by the fintechs or by the banks. It was rejected kind of like wholly. And it's interesting because under PSD2, whilst there's a lot that we can do to mandate the banks do things, there's nothing really we can do to mandate the third parties to do things. Of course, they have to be authorized by the FCA, but there's nothing there where you can encourage or coerce them to join one of these things. It could even be construed to be an obstacle. So one of the questions I'd have for anyone really is, I feel it's a good idea, but how do we get them there?